What's up guys, my name is Fred and welcome back to the channel. We are still working on the 240 here, doing the interior reinstall after the roll cage. So look here and I'll show you where we left off. So in the last video we installed the dashboard and made all the cuts up here to make it possible that the dash could slide in around the A-pillar bars here. So that's where we left off in the last video. What I got to do now is I got to pull the dash out. I need to bolt in the dash bar, make it solid, and then put the dash back in and get started on the rest of the interior pieces and get this thing buttoned up and looking like a street car again. And yeah, that's really all I got to do is put some interior parts back on, and then this car can fire up and start and run and drive again, and I can test drive it for the first time with the cage installed and see if there's any differences as far as whether the cage is in my way or whether it's hard to drive with the cage right by my leg, or if there's any visibility issues. I really don't think there's going to be any problems like that, but I'm excited to get the car back together and get it back on the road and move on to other projects. So let's get started and get this thing done.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay guys, it is a new day and I am working on the interior still here. So it's the next day, and this is where I left off yesterday. I've got the dash fully installed, center console fully installed and wrapped up there, steering columns installed, gauge cluster, all that's done, looking good enough for now anyway. I've got to put the ECU back in and tidy up all that wiring. Seats will go in last. So the project for today is to get the back end installed back here. And the most difficult part of this part of the project is going to be these side panels. This is the left side panel here, and I've got to get that installed in this area right here, and it's going to be difficult because of all the bars that are in that area. Gonna have to make a lot of cuts. So I've been thinking about this for a few days, and I have an idea that I think is going to be the best of all options. None of the options are really super great, but the best one I've got, I think, is to cut this panel into two pieces to begin. So I think I'm going to make a vertical cut right in this area right here all the way down and split the panel in two. That way, hopefully, I can install the back half of the panel back here where it covers the wheel well, and then the cut will fall somewhere behind this bar right here. Okay, so here's the first panel in temporarily. It's just sitting there. Sorry, hard to get in here now with these bars. But anyway, here's the first panel all trimmed up, and it's all fitting flush really where it needs to be now, so you can see the crazy cut that had to be made. The edges are still very rough. I just got done sawing them out, so it's kind of a channel had to be routed out of there at this crazy angle, but that's what it took for that piece to go in there, so that's what I had to do. Now I just got to do that piece there and then both pieces on the driver's side, and yeah, she's coming together. Okay, so that was, I think, the last cut on that second side panel piece there on the left side. So that is pretty much the entire panel installed, trimmed and loosely installed. I'll have to go over the edges and clean them up and smooth them out a bit, and put all the clips back on the back side so that the panel can actually snap in. And then I think up there where the white paint's shining through, I'll probably pull the panel off and paint those areas black just so they don't shine so much and stand out. So here's the other panel on the bench here, and you can see my Sharpie line right here. That's where I'm going to make my first cut, and I'll show you the tool I'm using to cut this. I'm using this reciprocating saw right here, and it works really good. So that's how I'm making all my cuts, and then I'm finishing after I'm done with the cuts and I want to clean them up. I grind them real slowly with light pressure with this guy right here, and then I take a really sharp razor blade, extend it all the way out, and I scrape down the edges to get rid of the burrs. And so far that's been working pretty good. So I'm gonna get this panel started, get it ripped in half, and go from there. Okay, so here's how the driver's side, rear side panel came out. Pretty much the same as the passenger side. Maybe not quite as good. My cuts were a little bit sloppy there. but I did the best I was able to do. I'm happy with it. So everything's turned out really good there, and everything is clipped in its final spots. So it's actually time to put the rear seat back in. It's cool. Alright guys, so here it is. Rear seat is installed. Side panels are in, both sides. And it's all done. Basically, everything's done in there except the seats. I'll pop those in real quick. And then the interior will be done, but I wanted to film this while the front seats were out so we could get a good view back here. Yeah, so I'm really stoked on this. Back seat went in real easy. You may have seen in the previous clip that I had trouble with the backrest not fitting between the those bars up there, whatever they're called. So I had to kind of get crazy with the way I installed it, but anyway, in the end it did go in and everything fits like factory pretty much. It's a little tight right down here, but that is it. Yeah, super stoked on that. Very happy with how things are coming along here. It's got exactly the look I wanted as far as a mix of race car and street car, and just having that go fast with class kind of a feel to it. So really happy with that. So that's going to be it for the interior part of the videos here in this series on the roll cage. I think that's going to wrap us up. Appreciate you guys following along with videos and watching here. If you have any questions, let me know down below, and appreciate a sub if you want to follow along with the progress of the project. And here's my daughter Molly. She's working on a project of her own. And yep, that's going to be it for the interior part and the roll cage. The next up video I think I'm going to be doing is going to be most likely a fuel system upgrade. I've got all new fuel lines for the car and a bunch of in-tank fuel stuff to run 2 Walbro 450s in the tank, a bunch of Dash 8 line and some specialty fittings and so forth to make all that work so we can have a ton of fuel and not run out this year. So that's up next, so stay tuned and give me a sub if you want to follow along with the project like I said. Anyway, appreciate you guys, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.